Okay, let's start, Tom.
Very good. Thank you, Ryan, and welcome to all of you. We know it are busy times, so it's highly appreciated that you free yourself for this topic that is very close to our heart. I will make it very short. You see Tom and Ryan, but in fact, it's especially Ryan who will manage the webinar today. But my name is Tom. I'm the CEO of Novellas Healthcare since 8 years. Novellas Healthcare, for those who don't know us that good, we were founded 22 years ago. We are a Belgian located company offering several services to the life science industry. It all started 22 years ago with staffing solutions, and as of 2025, we also added our PSPs and the patient support programs. And it's in that area, of course, that we will be aiming today in the webinar, because a few years ago we developed a platform, a digital ecosystem that supports the patient support programs. And one of our best clients had a bright idea and thought, can't we transform the platform you have built for PSP purposes also for other objectives, such as medical need programs and compassionate use programs. And that's the whole idea, and that we have also further developed. And it's exactly that topic that Rayan now wants to explain to you, take you on our journey. And let's hope by the end of this webinar, we have proven also that the MNPs and the compassionate use programs can be digitalized, automated, and innovated. So this being said, Rayan, I think we should spend more time on the topic and the content itself. So I hand over to you, and I will jump in whenever you want me to.
Thank you, Tom. Let's start. So, very quick introduction on my side. I'm Ryan. I'm digital manager at Novellas Healthcare since 2 years and a half now. I'm skilled in marketing, especially digital marketing. So I'm not from medical, just to manage expectations on the other side. But I do love everything related with patient solutions, and that's a fascinating world. And today we will deep dive together in the nice world of early access program. Quickly, before we start, about the tool we are using today, you can ask questions directly either through the chat or through the questions button. And we will either try to react at the end of the session, or if we feel that we can, depending on the amount of questions, of course, if we feel we can manage it, we will then reply to them also during the presentation itself. For your info, if you see me moving my head sometimes, it's just because I have the questions on my smartphone, just to be as effective as possible to answer your potential questions. During the sessions, you will also have the ability to answer some of our questions, on the other hand, through polls. You will see that we will start with one first poll very quickly, and that will make it even more dynamic. And also linked to the polls, if you want to give some more details, don't hesitate to react through the chat or the questions. It's meant not to be something very theoretic, but maybe if we can, and the setting allows us, to be as dynamic as possible. I will move to the agenda for today. We will start with the challenges in early access programs, then talking about how can we optimize access and engagement, and then discuss about best practices for 2025, and we will go through a live demo, and then we will finish by the Q&A sessions. I will just mute Tom quickly because I hear an echo because we are next to each other. It should be more convenient for you now. Okay, let's move to the challenges of early access program. What you see here is a maze, and I selected this picture, in fact, to show the complexity, the number of layers that you have when you try to implement an initiative such as an early access program. We know it's a hurdle. We feel you. We've heard that from multiple companies, pharmaceutical companies, and also in medical device through the different projects we have led in Belgium, in the Netherlands, also in Croatia, because we have an international presence. And that's why it's important to discuss together about these challenges. So I will start with a question. Let me just load it. what are your biggest challenges regarding early access program? So now you should see on your screen different possibilities: internal complexity, administrative tasks, approval layers, coordination with multiple departments, and program management. So now you should be able to vote, and let's see the results in a few seconds. You can also select multiple elements. Okay, so we see the result live. Okay, coordination with multiple departments looks like a hurdle for most of the people. Also, the administrative tasks and the internal complexity. Yeah, this is the top three mainly. But what we see is that really the coordination with multiple departments is a hurdle for almost everyone. Okay, I will then move to what we believe are challenges, and it's cool because it's linked with what you think. First, there are so much complexity and administrative burden. We know early access program, medical need program, compassionate youth program. So early access in general, they are incredibly valuable for patients because they need potentially to life-saving treatments that aren't yet commercially available. So this is really an opportunity to save lives sometimes. But we also know that managing this program is not always as straightforward as it could be. There are a lots of complexities, and it makes lots of burden for pharma teams. First of all, there are lots of workflows, external workflows, but also internal workflows, multiple stakeholders. You are dealing with um, internal stakeholders within your company, but also external stakeholders in the world, let's say. These external stakeholders could be the ones busy with regulations, can be also patients associations, and also HCPs. So, in fact, there are lots of layers of rules, workflows, people involved. I will give one example. When you want to run a medical need program, for example, sometimes because it's such a broad project, it needs to go through marketing, through medical, through legal, through purchasing, of course, and maybe through logistics even. And then sometimes you don't know with whom you need to talk, and some departments have different priorities. So in fact, it requires a very smart and agile workflow, allowing you to assess the needs from each part and the requirements from each part internally and externally. Of course, then there are so many layers that it creates complexity. It's then harder to coordinate for you as a project leader across departments, and it increases your workload, the workload of your colleagues, and it makes the program slow down. Sometimes you might have seen that between the time you have the project of running an early access program and the project to effectively run it, and even more in pharma, it takes months. Sometimes it can take a year. So yeah, it's quite a hurdle. So the coordination is very intense on that end. So that's, let's say, for the administrative part, because we know there are some admin tasks required internally from your company, but also externally from regulations such as GDPR, privacy, and so on, and all other types of requirements, administrative requirements that we will go through in the next slides. Another important element are the regulations, compliance, and so on. Here we see that there are diverse framework around across countries. As you know, each country has its own regulations, and it's covering the use of unapproved therapies. We are lucky in Europe because we have a European framework for compassionate use programs, for example. And then you still have, of course, local standards that applies. But we all countries from the European Union follows the EU standards. But for example, it can be very different. I don't know, for instance, in India or in the United States, because they follow totally different rules. So if that's an initiative that needs to be run through global rules, it's very hard to roll out because you need to know the local specificities of a country before running such a program. That has been said, that means that it adds even more complexity because Belgium is not the Netherlands, Netherlands are not France, France is not Croatia, it's not Switzerland. What we will do on the next 3 slides is the results of desk research we have done um, for the regulations regarding early access program in 3 countries: Belgium, the Netherlands, and Croatia. Why these 3 countries? It's because, first of all, we are active in these 3 countries, and I've seen in the attendees list that obviously most of the attendees were coming from Belgium, Netherlands, and Croatia. So we thought it would be interesting to show you a quick recap of what we have found as a regulatory framework for the early access program in these 3 countries. Once again, small disclaimer, I'm not a medical expert, so if you see something wrong or something that needs to be more precise, don't hesitate to type it in the chat. I take it as a learning and I take it positively. So please feed me. I will start with Belgium because Novellas Healthcare is located in Belgium. In Belgium, regulatory and compliances hurdles for early access and COP can be quite challenging due to the layer of requirements. Still, we know that in Belgium, company needs to follow a royal decree, and this royal decree also follows local and EU standards. What we have found is that it's quite straightforward. Application must include a product dossier on the one hand, and also ICFs, so an informed consent form on the other hand. Also, the treating physician must provide a logica, a rationale for patient inclusion to show, in fact, that there are no alternatives for the patient. That's the only solution, even though the drug is not yet on the market and is not yet approved, let's say. Um, Spoiler alert, through our E-MNP tool, this kind of inclusion-exclusion criteria are totally managed and you can create them online. You will see through the demo that we made it in forms as of a text, but you can also include them as a checkbox, ask for a document to be uploaded to prove that the criteria are met, these kind of things. And also very important, ongoing pharmacovigilance is required when you need to go through PV to assess potential adverse event and to do your safety reporting. That can sound very basic, but it's required if you want to run an early access program. I will then move to the next country, the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, I'm sorry, there are 2 main pathways. The first one is about what they call named patient pathways, where a physician can directly request an unapproved treatment for individual patients, and it's then reviewed by the Dutch Health Inspectorate. Honestly, it looks way more easier than the second option. The second option is named for cohort-based compassionate use program, where application must be approved by a medicines evaluation board, and then you need also to prove some elements. So that's really much more restrictive than the first one. So if there are some people doubting about these two, I would, with my very small background, rather go for the first option. And the last one about Croatia. The Croatian Agency for Medicinal Product and Medical Device, named HALMED, oversees the compassionate use program. These programs are subject to ethical review and strict requirement for safety monitoring. So a bit like in Belgium. And the physician must, of course, ask the permission of the patient to take part to such a program and then send the application to the organization. So that was one part of the challenges. Now we'll go to the other part of the challenges in early access programs, which is the resource constraint. I will talk about Belgium, for example. In Belgium, we know resource constraint, it creates a specific challenge for pharmaceutical companies, especially regarding financial limitations, but also staffing and regional disparities. And now, through the three next slides, we will see how this manifests itself in practice. Let's start with the staffing limitations. As you can see, and you know, very often early access programs are managed by small teams in the Benelux region. So very often it's a team of 3, 4 people or even less, and they are not highly funded. And this makes that it's hard for them first to focus and then to go through the complete process due to the lack of budget. One statistic that I found is that nearly 60% of pharma companies they cite limited funding as a primary barrier in scaling this program effectively. So that's a key challenge and one of the biggest challenge, the financial aspect. Second aspect, I think I went too fast. 60. Ah, yeah, no, correct. It's about the difference between the demand and the capacity. There is a huge demand for early access, and in fact, it's logic because it's a unique opportunity to support patients who really need that, and there are no other alternatives on the one hand. But on the other hand, the resources are so squeezed, the teams are so small that it's hard to reply to this demand. There is no capacity, the teams are overloaded. And another statistic is that we saw that in smaller pharma teams, they spend approximately 30 to 40% of their time to manage MNPs, for example. But that means, on the other hand, that if they spend 30 to 40% of their time managing an early access program, this time is then not used in focusing in other priorities, which is also confronting for no, for an individual because you know that you have so many projects to run and that an MNP is one part of lots of projects that you need to run. So here also you need, in fact, to gain time. And luckily, we are in the era of digital, and digital can help you to save lots of time. Last but not least, about the resource distribution regionally. In Europe, the healthcare system is different from countries to countries, but even within a country, like in Belgium, we see that there are some regional disparities regarding early access programs. You will have areas with robust healthcare infrastructures, like in Antwerp or in Brussels, where it will be easier to have access to MNPs and compassionate use, like in big hospitals, for example, whereas in peripheral areas or rural areas, it may face some delay or it may take some time. So it's harder to propose some equitable solutions. And then on the countryside, of course, we know that in some countries they have more resources to run these kind of initiatives more often. Like pharma companies will have maybe much more budget to run to run 10 compassionate use programs in France and maybe less in Belgium because the country and the market is smaller. But it creates disparities, and the disparities creates a gap in the way you can give people access to this kind of care, which is a kind of emergency care, of course. Next step, why simplifying access and logistics matters. So now we will see for HCPs and also for patients, why is it so important to simplify these steps? Let's start with the patients. It makes it giving an easier and faster access can help patients. That's very simple. If we can save their life, we can provide them the therapy sooner and impact their KOL, so their quality of life. That's a given. And also a consistent process, a clear workflow with less layers, going faster, will minimize the patient waiting time. And of course, it will improve the likelihood of having a positive outcome because they don't have to wait so much before getting this medication that they need. On the other side, because we know it's also a service offered to HCPs, it helps to simplify the process, reduce the administrative burden. It makes it easier for providers to participate in early access program if they have an online tool that they can log in, for example, instead of the pen and paper. And if the program is clear, organized, it will encourage the HCPs to recommend and support this initiative. Whereas if it's just as an initiative without any clear structure, any environment, it will be harder for them to register their patients. That's why the need of also having a digital environment to manage these initiatives is key. On your side, it improves your image as pharma company to show yourself as an innovative provider among HCPs, because instead of receiving patient inclusion through posts, you will receive it directly online instantly. It will be then accepted in a click, and then sent. An email will be sent to the HCP to say, hey, your patient has been accepted to the medical need program. Let's see now the best practices to optimize the patient and the HCP engagement. Let's start with the HCP. When for HCPs, it's important to simplify the enrollment process through digital tools, for example, but at least reduce the paperwork. They have no time, we know it, and it can significantly increase their workload if they still go through pen and paper. So we need to enable them to focus on the patient care, really important. So simplifying the process. It's also key that they have the right information right in front of them when they need it. They don't have to look, they don't have to call you. And that's why having an online portal helps to provide an organized and easily digestible program, and it makes really a difference. Also, the enrollment process needs to be smooth, no administrative burden on their side, and an online application is the best they can receive. They will be really happy. About the patients, we need to stress here the patient-centric care, because patients needs to feel informed, understood, and supported at every step of this journey, and they need to understand that that's a chance, in fact, that they receive this kind of medication. For them also, if needed, know a simplified process, and whenever needed, providing a nurse available in case of need, because we know that for some medication, it needs to be injected, that kind of thing. And here you can improve the patient experience by providing, for example, a nurse coming at home and visiting the patient to educate him about the injection and how does it work, and then having a follow-up support with them to see how is it going. And here you can be creative and propose a mix between face-to-face education, virtual education, having check-ins, as I said, and having a feedback mechanism, because it needs to go on both ways. And here they will see the added value of what you propose, and they will appreciate it, and also maybe tell it to the HCP, which will increase your brand reputation. The last slides, and then we will move directly through the demo. We will see some best practices, in fact, some trends about early access programs in 2025. Two of them, I think, if I remember correctly. First, digital platform and e-health solutions. We know that digitalization is accelerating, and that more and more platforms are designed to facilitate everything: early access programs, patient support programs, clinical. So it helps, in fact, in patient enrollment, the patient monitoring, and it makes it way more efficient. So now today, it needs to be a given that you provide to your HCP a digital platform, a digital environment for your early access program. Otherwise, let's say you're living a bit in the past. Also, virtual visits is an emerging trend since a few years. In fact, since COVID, we saw the rise of televisits, teleconsultation, and we saw the benefit for the patients. There might have been some doubts at the beginning, but in fact, it has a positive impact because it allows a quick follow-up, and it's in fact a friendly way to monitor your patients. They don't have to move. Sometimes it's very useful, and it has an impact on your budget because it's less expensive, on planning because it's easier to manage planning. You can handle much more touch points, and it's good for the patient monitoring because you add a new touch point and it's more efficient. In a nutshell, there are four main advantages for the Novellas Healthcare E-MNP portal that I'm really curious to show you today. It's a fast and easy setup. So you see it's a very straightforward tool that you can use very easily. It's doing what it should do, nothing more. It's a very user-friendly tool. You will see it's not going through in all directions with crazy functionalities. It's a compliant tool, of course. And by the way, Novellas Healthcare is an ISO certified company and GDPR certified company, and it's adaptive to each country. And of course, it's innovative because it's so simple that it can be customized the way the client wants. Now let's move to the demo. Please allow me 1 minute just to go through the link. Okay, I will start with the admin. I'm just connecting. And I will share my screen again right now. Okay, so we are in the environment of the medical need program, the eMedical need program, and here we are going to log in as admin. So here I will just log in. Voilà. So let's suppose that I am a medical officer. I'm running a medical need program, and I connect. So I directly see the list. I directly have an overview on my active patients, the pending registrations, the patient with missing letter of agreement, the pending supply requests and letter of agreements. So LOA means letter of agreements, the upcoming supply requests, and the expired supply requests. So if that's what's important for me, I see it directly on my dashboard. Of course, this can be customized depending on your needs. Let's suppose I want to see my active patients. Sorry, I just need to click here, and I've got my list of active patients. Due to GDPR, of course, I won't get any personal data regarding the patient, meaning I will get a patient ID, month and birth of year, and that's it. I won't have his first name, last name, and home address. I know who is treating the patient, the status of the registration. So in that case, the patient is approved, and the status of the patient in the program, if there is still an LOA missing, or if a medication has been ordered, and when the patient has been registered. We can also see in details the dose at the startup, the dose at the second request. So here in the case of this patient, there has been a second request, and when is the next resupply planned. So there have been in total for that patient 4 supplied planned. If I want, I can go there, see some more details like the gender, the hospital of the patient. I could get the details of the history of the requests, and here, details of the eligibility criteria. Here you see it's just written inclusion criteria and then 1, 2, 3, exclusion criteria 1, 2, 3. But here we can change it in the form of checkboxes, for example. We can build some logic behind that. Going back to the dashboard, I can also see my pending registrations. So here I have this patient who is having a pending registration, and I see the review of this patient application is pending, no requests. And same for the pending LOAs. It's always the same logic. Voilà, missing LOA. If needed, I can delete the filters and I get the list of all my patients, of course. Same for the HCPs. We've got the list of our HCPs with first name, last name, and the receive number. When we enter a new HCP, the receive number helps us to see if it's really an HCP. In fact, that's the logic we use, and the 3 last digits help us to see if it's in line with the therapeutic area. We see the hospital linked to the HCP, the email, and we can activate, deactivate an HCP. Really here. Let's suppose that this HCPs working in a new hospital, we can add an hospital quickly here by clicking on add. Also useful on the tool, the HCP, they can have team members such as a data nurse, a pharmacist, and a backup HCP that we can link to him. And depending on the roles, they have different access. So maybe the pharmacist can on the hospital can ask for the delivery. The data nurse can provide some other elements, and the backup can have full access, but only during a certain period of time. I will close. And here you can get an overview of the supply requests, if it's an early, if it's first, and the status if it's finished. And if you want, you can see it in details. You need to give a reason in case of early supply, but this kind of logica can be of course customized. Same here, those ordered on previous supplies. Here in that example, it's 2 boxes, and we can adapt depending on your needs. You can export it as an Excel file, and if useful, you can get some statistic on your number of active patients through time, new patients, end of treatment, resupplies. You can have the split of patients per hospital to see who is, let's say, playing the game, the treatments in the last 12 months, and so on. In the settings, you have the list of hospitals. What we usually do is that we import a list of hospitals of your choice directly on the portal, so that you don't have to do it then yourself afterwards. So if you want to target, I don't know, already the 10 biggest hospitals in Belgium, we can import them directly into the system. So that's about the admin. Now let's see how it works for an HCP. That's now the HCP side. Here also it can be fully customized. You see a background picture of a woman. You can customize it wherever you want, however you want. Change the logo, of course, not a Novellas logo, but maybe your logo. And the URL here, demo, you can change it and customize it to your needs. Here it's in English, but you can also build it in English, in French, in Dutch. Yeah, no matters your need. I will just need 1 second also to connect here, if you allow me. Ta-dam. Okay, now I'm not a medical officer anymore. I'm an HCP working in a hospital, for example, and I arrive, so I receive my credentials and I log in for the medical lead program named Caribalimumab. So everything here can be customized, but for instance, I would receive a welcome introduction sentence. Hello, you manage patients for the program, and then we can use these to register patients and then manage patients. We can also manage the team, because the HCP can have a team that can manage directly online and see quickly the approved patients without LOA. So here, if I have the LOA of Leonardo DiCaprio at hand, I can upload it and see active patients with overview, resupply date, and open patient file to quickly correct it. One detail here, if needed for the HCP, we can implement the template on their side of the portal so that they don't have it at their hand to gain time. They just have to click here, they download the template, they fill it in, and then they upload it linked to the patient. Let's suppose that I want to register a new patient. Very easy. I select for which hospital I want the medication to be sent. Here, in that case, the HCP has 2 hospitals. Voila. I will then register the patient. Voila. My date of birth, my gender. Yeah, I'm an HCP, so the gender of the patient, sorry, because I'm writing my name. And the dose, I need to select the dosage. If we need 1 box or 2 boxes, let's start with 1 box. Here it can be also customized. Then they need to go through that step. It's a kind of informed consent. And then there are some inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria that you can build. And here, same, you can customize them to your needs. Here, let's say that the patient fulfills all of that. Okay, I confirm. And then the registration is sent for review. I wait a bit. Voila. The registration is now submitted. In the same time, the medical officer receives an email to approve. So if I update on that side, voila, you see it went from 7 to 8, and I will find the new patients to be accepted. So that's this one. I will review, and if I accept, then I will. It will go quickly. And on the other hand, once it's accepted, the patient, the HCP will receive a mail saying that the patient is accepted and that he will receive soon his medication. Once the patient is accepted, what we can do, because it's so hard to link it with logistic departments of all companies, we build a trigger sending a mail to the logistic department of the company to take care of the delivery. Back to the HCP, he can have a view on his patients very quickly. He can open a patient file. For example, Jennifer Lawrence, she had a resupply expected on July 2024. He can request resupply directly here or inform about the end of the treatment. So for instance, I will request resupply here. I will ask for 2 boxes and submit. And same, very quickly, the medical officer receives an email to take action, to review, approve, and then it moves forward. If needed, we can share information about the program, put some contact details for question about the platform, for question about pharmacovigilance, share some documents, share some relevant links. And the last part for the HCP is that he can build his team and invite them directly through the portal. So here he has an admin support and assistant, Nikola Tesla, and we can easily invite someone. We add the email address, we link the hospital. Voila, invitation is sent. So I will receive it on my personal email. And on the other hand, if I say, oh no, I don't need this person as an admin, I will revoke, and then they don't have access anymore. Same for the pharmacist, same for the backup, and you see that they have different access. Like the data nurse, they have access to your patient, to the patient of the HCP. They can register new patient, request resupply, and also inform on end of treatment on the behalf of the HCP. Whereas the pharmacist for resupply, they mainly take care of the supply part and also end of treatment. So they don't register patients. And the backup, mainly in case of holidays, someone can follow up the E-MNP instead of the HCP. Yeah, so that was basically it regarding the portal. I've taken now 40 minutes for the presentation. That's great. We are in time. So now I think it's time for a small Q&A session. But before that, I would like to hear your feedback. I will submit a poll. And the question will be, what's your opinion on this webinar overall? I'm very curious because, yeah, I don't know what you think about this webinar and if that's something we should do again. So curious to see your feedback. Okay, interesting, most of it. And maybe you can add in the chat if we should spend more time on the demo, more time, let's say, on the theory. That's also something interesting. Good overview, thank you. Okay, thank you. So 80% find it very interesting. Thank you. My next question to you, and then we'll go through the question on your side, is if you are interested in discussing early access program management with Novellas Healthcare, and in case you reply yes, we will just get in touch with you very quickly through the next days. Okay. Now let's go through your questions. I will open the chat. Thank you, Nora. More time on the demo. Okay, someone says more time on demo. Sometimes says someone sorry said more time on the demo, and someone says more time on the theory. So then I will do a longer webinar with more time on both, so that both of you are happy. Okay. One question. One question from Dimitri. The logistic part is often a challenge because need of relabeling and distribution of small quantities. Can you support or advise on this? Tom, if you want to jump in, feel free.
I feel free. No, it's a relevant question that we very often get from clients, which is completely justified. But as Rayan explained currently, because of the diversity in all of the different companies, we have decided not to create a link directly to supply, and that's why we found this pragmatical approach for now the best solution. But it's true, it's not automated, but like this, it works for most of our clients.
Yeah, I was in mute. Sorry. Thank you. No need at the moment to discuss further. That's a feedback from someone. Okay. We have a question. How do you ensure that patients are eligible for the early access program and the tools support this? So here, what we showed today was that we have the possibility to implement inclusion and exclusions criteria. Here it was a blank text because it's just in our demo environment. But in fact, we can build through what we name dynamic forms, to get the technical term, sequences of questions, and then depending of the response on the question, you can then have a decision tree to include or exclude someone. And then depending on the outcome, it can be then automatically sent to you, or then you can get an email saying that you've got an attempt and that it has been declined through the decision tree. Okay, any other questions? Oh, I see another question. Where can we find the regulation for E-MNP in Belgium? So for that, I went to the website of FAGG, if I'm saying it correctly, where there were some regulations about medical need programs in Belgium. And then diving on internet, I found some different sources about that. Yeah. But if you need more details, Marianne, yeah, you can contact us, and we will be happy also to support. Maybe I missed this, but can you use the platform for both programs as well as individual requests? Good question, Noah. I think so. I will just double check with Tom if we allow to do so. In theory, we can. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You're welcome. Okay, I will wait. Is there any support for regulatory differences per country in platform? Yes, we can certainly support, depending on the country you are planning to launch in, to help you understand what are the differences. Maybe you can send us in a private message what are the countries you are targeting, if that's something confidential. And we can certainly support if you are planning, I don't know, Belgium, Netherlands, France, whatever. And yeah, we have people inside internally who can be of big help to understand that. Another question, and here I will let Tom answer. Is there an option to do real-world data collection via the platform?
This specific platform, the answer is no. But next to our PSP platform, our E-MNP platform, we also have a real-world evidence platform. So this is not part of this demo, but if there would be an interest, we can take this separate, I would say, but we are indeed able to support this.
Yeah. So in fact, we have different types of services and portals, and in another portal, which is in the look and feel similar to the one we showed, we do capture data easily through the dynamic forms, and it can be as simple as complex depending on what you need. And we have run now several projects in Belgium regarding data capture, so we are quite experienced since a few years, sorry, in that. Okay, I think. Oh, another question. Sorry, I was going to close. Holger, apart from the platform, do you also offer the possibility to run compassionate use programs, medical need programs for pharma in multiple countries? EA offer personnel. Tom, I'll let you reply this one because it's more
Yeah,
commercial.
it's true. It's true. We do offer it. We have limited experience. It was linked to a PSP that we were running, and because of the fact that reimbursement wasn't realized, we offered also our support in patient recruitment and patient retention. That's what we do then. In order to make this MNP work. So in that sense, we can do so, and we also have the availability via partners we work with to do this in different countries. So the simple answer would be yes, but I would need more detailed information to be even more concrete in my answer.
Another question, I think. Oh, thank you. What I will do is that I will add, if you agree, Tom, can I put your email in the chat?
For sure.
Yeah, I will add Tom's email in the chat in case you have some other questions regarding medical need program or patient solutions in general, so that you can directly reach out to him. If you have something very precise that you really maybe don't want to share to the whole audience, it can be convenient. Okay, I think we can wrap up for today. Tom, thank you for your help today.
It was more than my pleasure. Well done, Ryan. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the session today. We will plan some other sessions through next year, not especially about medical need programs, but about all our patient solutions in general. So make sure to stay up to date with our activities. It can be on LinkedIn, through our newsletters, whatever. So thanks again for your interest, and have a nice day, everyone. See you.
See you. Bye bye.